Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Now today in my hands I have a box from the company Wuben. Now this is the X3 and I'm going to say in my hands here the PR box. This is like a box that Wuben sent with the press release version of this particular product. Now at the time of this video, the X3 model from Wuben is going into a Kickstarter campaign. What you see here is the prototype. So this is an opportunity to take a look at this, get some feedback to the people at Wuben so they can dial in their final production run and get it nailed. I love that. Conceptually, that's just fantastic. Think about it. I'm a reviewer. I constantly get flashlights in my hands, test them out and go, ugh. If they had only done this, or they had only done that, or just tweaked it this way, or tweaked it that way. Well, I get the opportunity right now with Wuben to influence the final product. Isn't that what you kind of want to see from an EDC company, from a flashlight company? I don't care what a company makes. You want the opportunity to fine tune it. And they're reaching out to the people that do this all the time to say, hey, give us some feedback. So before I even start, Wuben, nicely done. And so today what we're going to do is a first look at this X3. Now I have taken a look at the X2 in the past. A fantastic light. I absolutely love it. It's in my regular EDC rotation. But here again, the PR box for the X3. But with that said, I have a whole bunch to do and a whole bunch to share with you and with the people at Wuben. And if you're interested in seeing a little bit more about what I'm about to get into, do me a favor, stay tuned. Now before we get too far, I would like to say thank you very much to the people at Wuben who did provide this for review. Now to kick things off, this here is the X2, which if you look at how small this is, fits in my hand. This light has been awesome. I love this flashlight. It's really cool. It's unique. The overall capabilities, awesome. I've never had an accidental discharge. It's never turned on in my pocket. It's been awesome. I love this light. I love the clip, everything about it. But when you look at the form factor, it's pretty small, all things considered. And when I get this box beside me for the X3, I'm like, well, what exactly is in here? And this is the cool thing. Now I've seen other companies in the past creating these PR boxes, but this is my first time getting one. There's going to be some goodies in here. Let's spin the camera around and get a good look. And so as we get into this here, again, just such a cool opportunity. I am absolutely pumped to see what's inside here. So again, you know, different companies at different points in time do create PR boxes, and it's not going to be the final product that you see. There will be changes, but inside here, wow, okay. Thank you for reviewing the Wuben X3. The current X3 is prototype. If you have any suggestions, please let us know. I love this from the Wuben team. Here you have your instructions. Really cool. I love this. I love this. I love this. As a consumer, you should be pumped. You should be like, thank you, Wuben, for listening and for following along with what more flashlight companies should be doing. Now, what is this contraption here? Got a nice big case, beautifully, built into this nice foam presentation box. Here we have some sort of, oh, this is the flashlight itself. So the X3 here, really neat. Wow, interesting. Keep in mind, this is the first time I've seen this. There is no information anywhere. This, what I'm making right now, is the release for this flashlight. So this is very lightweight, unique look, really cool. And I'm curious, is this has to be wireless charging, right? That's what I'm thinking. All right, so what is this? Is this the charger? So looks to be USB. Yeah, this looks to be the charger. So maybe an accessory. Curious what this thing does. Huh. Very intriguing. Now, as we continue to dig here, this I have seen before. So this is not just a lanyard. It looks like a lanyard at an initial glimpse, but as you press these buttons here, this is a double-sided USB Type-C cable. So data and charging. You'll notice it doubles off as a little sort of measuring capability here, which is kind of cool. 25 centimeters overall. Pretty neat and definitely effective. Now, I do like this, something that Wuben has provided on other models. And so all in all, that kind of wraps up the contents of the presentation box. Now, as we get into here, large case, bigger than I'd say it needs to be. Why such a big case? What is this for? This looks like it would fit my son's Oculus. I don't necessarily understand the exact purpose for this. However, there's some padded dividers in here. With this would like hold a drone or something. You know, you end up with some utility slots and the ability to put in some accessories. Very interesting, like a hard shell case. It's pretty cool. I don't know what I would necessarily use this for. You have all these different Velcro padded dividers, but definitely something that could come into play. So I'll think about this just a little bit further. But the reality is we're here to talk about the X3. Now, at this point, let's take the X3 and compare it against the X2. I can tell you this X3 is crazy light, very, very light. Has a similar clip overall, so that's kind of cool. So similar clip to the X2, but this is going to be bezel up, where this is bezel down. Now, I do personally, this is my own personal preference, like a bezel down design a little bit better, but let's get into this thing. I might change my mind after some use. I'm not going to draw any conclusions yet. Now, I can tell you these clips are very effective and seem to work very well. It certainly did on the X2, but moving forward with the X3 here, you can see how this body is screwed together on this back panel. Here, this looks to be magnetized, so I believe this should stick to, the side of a vehicle on a body panel, or, something like a toolbox or any sort of surface like that. I can also tail stand that, so that's going to work out fairly well. It might tip over if you're not careful, but it takes a little bit of effort to knock it over. Now, in this particular case, you'll notice with the X2, nice and wide, the X2, I tail stand this continuously on my nightstand, beam up off of the ceiling so I don't wake up my wife, and just enough light that I can get around in my bedroom. That will be the case here with the X3, but the fact that these buttons are sort of small and don't have a whole bunch in the way of overall width might be a little bit limiting in terms of its stability, but again, we'll continue to test this. Moving on here, so this looks to be like a charger, and the light sits right in there. And this is kind of an interesting dual purpose item here. So you end up with screen maybe on the front. We'll check that out. Cover. Ability to use this as a flashlight. Probably a tabletop little lamp or lantern. Very interesting. Now, just on my desk here, I have my USB Type-C cable. Going to expose this port on the front, which at this point, let's just plug this in and see what happens. So yes, little green light turning on here. We're going to let that do its thing. So little green light there, little red light here. So if I had to guess, this is charging. So the case itself is charging, and then the flashlight on the inside, ba-boom, here you can see. This is at 90% and charging. Interesting glow, the body glowing. Wild. As I slide this out. Okay, really cool. I can feel the magnets sucking it in and just falling into place. This is going to be neat. So I'm going to let this charge and do its thing. And then we'll come back in a little bit and we'll get into some further details.
And so now, as we get the X3 outside for some beam shots, now I'm going to start by single pressing here As I single press, you'll see this does come on in the memory mode. And as I continue to press on and off, you'll see light on, light off. So now at this point, light on, I'm going to long press, and this cycles between the modes. So low, high, low, high. Very straightforward. In the low mode, you can see pretty good beam overall, beaming off to the left-hand side, illuminating my deck, to the right-hand side, illuminating the fence line and everything in between. Pretty good overall amount of beam, which I'm happy with for a low mode. Now this here is a 50 lumen output, very low, all things considered, but now at this point, a long press. This is 150 lumens. So again, to the left, you can see the deck, to the right, the fence line, and everything in between. Quick double press here, that's going to be the turbo mode. So this is 700 lumens. Great output for such a small light and a very good overall beam pattern. You can see off into the distance nicely up onto the side of my house, illuminating everything nicely and up into the trees. As you take a look at this, you can see the body is glowing, which is really cool. I think that's a neat overall look. And again, when I single press, the light illuminates blue. So very interesting. Now you can turn the blue off if you don't want to kill the battery, but I do kind of like that. I think it's a neat feature. Now a long press. Long press is going to be that red illumination. This is a 70 lumen output beaming way off into the distance. Now again, a long press, that's going to go to a beacon. Long press. This is going to go into a very low output. You can see here, not a ton of light, but enough to read, which is awesome. So that 1 lumen, very nice, very even. Again, long press, that's going to be the high 70. Long press, that's going to be that beacon. Long press back to the single lumen output. Single press is off.
Now there are a few things worth considering. Of course, here you can see with this case. Now this is the next part about the X3, which I think is just really, really cool. Let's just take the light and we're going to turn it on for a second here. And you can see as we get it turned on, well, if I was to put this in the case, you can see here, putting this down, the lens is not doing much to help here. In fact, it's literally doing nothing. However, this is where kind of some of that magic happens. You actually can take the head and now you swivel it, accidentally depressing the button there, but you can see swiveling the head. Well, this does a few things. First off, you can see based upon the position of the clip, I could theoretically put this on a pack, maybe my pack strap, and this would do a wonderful job just beaming out. I could also potentially put this on a strap on, a hard hat or something like that. I could also probably clip this to the brim of a hat, and it may add a little bit of value either way, either straight out or down. But the other thing is, now that I put it in the charging case here, well, this becomes a lantern, which is, again, really cool and innovative. You can see a nice, even, diffused light, and you can get on top and still press the button. So you can get through all the different modes. So as we get into the different intensities here, 150, 150, double press, 700. So you can absolutely get into all the different modes, which I think is really, really cool. And if I long press here, I can even get into the red, which also has a nice, even diffused light. Long press here, even brighter. So again, just having that nice diffused light, it's pretty cool. So the people at Wuben really thinking about this. I mean, it's innovative. It is really, really neat. And the other thing worth considering, the fact that everything is really, and this is another cool part about this, you can charge this wirelessly. So you can literally drop this on a charger. And if you have a wireless charger, it will absolutely charge this. So that's a very, very neat opportunity. I think this is just different. It really lends itself to multi-use, multi-purpose, EDC. Absolutely fantastic. I do have to say, this is a pretty cool light and extremely innovative. Now, because this is in the prototype phase, I do get to be a little bit nitpicky. If I'm going to single press, well, you see the white light comes on. Now I need to long press to get between the different intensities. But the weird thing, and it just takes getting used to, now I need to long press to get into the red, and then long press again to get between the different modes. It's just one of those things that you kind of need to get used to. Like, I think I would prefer to single press into any one of the modes, then long press between them, say for the white. Then in the red, I'm going to long press and then single press between the different intensities. I think to me, my brain works that way, and it kind of keeps things separate. Like the fact that all the mode changes are a long press, I mess it up all the time. I get it on the white light. Single press to turn on the light, long press between the modes, no problem. But then I'm sort of long pressing to get into the red light, and it goes counterintuitive to all the other lights that I have. You don't usually long press into a mode and then long press between them. It's just one of those things that I haven't got over. I don't know which way I prefer it. It's just an observation. And the other thing is, I do, again, wish there was a little more meat on the magnets. I don't know if there's a reason, and it's probably a reason because of charging, that these are separate and they're the shape that they are. But what I would really love to see is a full, flat, square magnet on the bottom, consuming the entire bottom of the base, which would make this much more sturdy when you stand it up. This does become a little bit floppy. It can fall over pretty easy. And I feel like the X2 did a better job executing this tail stand, in my opinion. But again, all in all, a really cool light from Wuben. So again, to all of you, this is a Kickstarter campaign. This is sort of the announcement of this light. Take a look in the description box below for all of the details and relevant links. To the people at Wuben, thank you very much for allowing me the opportunity to test this ahead of time, provide critical feedback. I think it's a cool light. I can highly recommend it. It's just innovative. Very, very neat and unique. And so again, to all of you, if you like this content, do me a favor. Take a look at my Outer Limitless 2 channel, which is more on the tactical and firearm side of things. At this point, that channel is growing quickly. I have a ton of videos up there. So if you like what you see here on Outer Limitless, do me a favor and check me out on Outer Limitless 2. So, all right, guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.